there is. They've got ability. But at the moment, they're not showing the ability to be able to show their ability. Do you understand that?
I think I do. Does that, and your
Maybe
experience...
explain it.
Well, go on then, yeah, go for it.
Let's say you're a striker who needs to score goals, then you need to make sure that you get into the areas to show that ability, and then you've got to make other people play the right ball at the right time that is their strength, i.e. if they're passing the ball, they need to create chances. They've got to get into forward areas, whether it be with a dribble or a run, and then a pass to them, and then they're in the area where they can show their ability. At the moment, they don't seem to be in the right areas to show their ability.
And can your experience help the players bring that out in their games?
Well, you've got to spot it first, yeah. I can help them bring it out. All you can do is show them on a daily day, and you say, can you see what I'm saying? Because why are you, as one of the strikers, in this position at this moment in time, when if you was in that position, we'd have been more likely to have got a goal and you to have had a shot. So it's showing them and asking them why were they in that area, and they'll all say, they thought they was doing the right thing at the time, but we've got to show them that there's other options, especially when you're chasing a game, especially when you're chasing the league points, if you like. They've got to start being a bit more potent, so we've got to help them with that.
And you talked about people taking responsibility. Of course, fans, not so much a duty, but I suppose they've got a big role to play in everyone sticking together. You're back at home this week after 2 away games as well.
Well, one thing I've learned over the years is that you can't make fans do anything. They'll obviously do what they feel that they want to do, and some will see it through right to the end, giving fantastic support. Others will give support when we win and a little bit critical when we lose. Of course, that's human nature, and we understand that. And some are just miserable anyway. Not too many of them, because I think over the weeks and the last couple of seasons we've had fantastic support, and we have created a bond that should last a little bit longer than normal sort of thing. So hopefully now's the critical time, because now's the time, as you say, we do need to stick very closely together and support the lads in everything we do, and then worry about it and moan about it at the end of the season if it hasn't worked out.
And is this a difficult team for you to pick this week?
Sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't. You're wrestling with the continuity of what you're trying to do. The problem is if you throw in a different team to the next game every week, you're not going to get any of that continuity. So I don't think it's a wholesale change thing. Sometimes there might need to be one or two for whatever reason, and it's more going to be that than wholesale changes.
Yeovil.
But then I've told you too much already.
Yeovil, obviously, your connections are well known. How different is the experience of playing them here at Cheltenham rather than going to Hewish Park?
I think Darren's got them working hard wherever they play. I don't think their home form is any better than their away form necessarily. But of course, when you've got home advantage, the advantage is your crowd, and the positive support that a positive crowd give you is worth a goal. Always, any manager will tell you that. Any player will tell you that, because if they know that there's a positive support behind them, and if they make a mistake, it's, don't worry about it, keep it going, blah blah blah, then they're not going to go sink into a shell during the game. Which, funny enough, our boys didn't sink in shells last couple of games. They were out there, but it's just that ability that we talked about that's got to come out.
Injuries, illness, any problems there? Danny Wright back well again?
We got to see about him today, so we're just going to have I haven't had the full SP on him just yet, so we hope so. We hope so, because somebody like Dan, you need a around the squad.
Thank you. Good luck.
No problem.
Do you think
Thank
that's the end of it with the illnesses? Do you think that Danny was the last, and
I don't know.
hopefully it's gone now?
Yeah, I don't know. Who knows? You know what I mean? It's like we've had the training ground deep cleaned. We've had people that are checking all the bacteria and stuff that may or may not be here. Obviously, outside of this training ground, there's people with bugs and flu and colds at this time anyway. You know, and the more people that get it, of course, our boys that have got families, Danny included, you know, where the kids are at school, that's their sort of problem areas, if you like, when the kid comes back from school and cuddles daddy and kisses him, and next thing you know, he's got the bug that the little one's got, sort of thing, you know. So that can be a problem to the fathers of our group. But anyway, we just got to get through it, and you know, every time we pick up a problem, we got to make sure that we got enough in reserve, you know, enough of a squad to make sure that we've still got a competitive team.
You mentioned continuity there. How much of your team now is picking a team for suiting an opposition or suiting your game plan, your strengths, your first wish for this team?
That's a good question. That's your best question ever on your last day. Well done. No, it is. And good luck to you, by the way, for the future.
Cheers.
Well done. It is a good question for the simple reason that sometimes you have to wait a little while longer throughout the week, because there's little knocks, there's little injuries when you've played Saturday, Tuesday, Saturday. You'd like to work with a group and keep working with them. Obviously, if you're winning, the team's easy to pick. If you're losing, and when you pick that team, you pick the team to win the game with the tactic that you've played, and they've obviously come up trumps because they've won the game, and then it's quite easy. Again, sometimes there's some that can play 3 games in a week, and there's some that can't. So we have to be aware of that. All I'll say is that we're aware of all the players' strengths and weaknesses, fitnesses, natural fitness. Some have to work harder than others. But generally, I like to keep a little bit of continuity and have people work and do well in training and in the games to get into the first team. You can't swan around in training and swan around in a game, a reserve game or a friendly that we arrange, and expect to be picked in the team. So those people know that they've got to work hard to get themselves in the team when a spot comes up.
People like James Dayton and Chapman sort of came in from a bit from nowhere Tuesday night, first games in quite a while. You obviously got people like Carl Storer and Asa Hall as well who are jumping at the bit. Is the temptation to throw one of them in because they will be that extra bit keen to prove something?
Well, of course, yeah. But as a manager, you know you have to make your decisions. Your teams will never get tested in your head. You know, like the people that have in their head is only my teams or my staff's teams, because we all talk about it. Get tested. Everyone else can have an opinion in hindsight, but what I can tell you is that every team we pick is for the benefit of the football club. We believe at that time, and then by the end of the season, it's proved whether you've been right or wrong.
Have you targeted a number of wins, a number of points from these last 15 games in sort of a block?
No, we haven't. You know that you've got to get. I mean, people say 50 points, but that's when there's 3 teams going down, generally. So, no, we haven't. We've just got to pick up as many points as we can early. 15 games to go, a lot of points to play for. We can't tell whether we're going to beat Luton away or draw with Newport at home at the moment, because that's been our result. So you can't pick out teams and say, well, we've got to win that one, because you know we've beaten a top team and we've drawn and lost to teams that are a little bit lower. I think the teams at the bottom there are pretty much of a muchness. They're all likely to get a result somewhere, like Leighton Orient did this week.
Hmm.
And they're all likely to get beat by somebody around them. The big games, of course, are the games when you play the teams that are around you and they become 6-pointers.
You're not involved in a 6-pointer this weekend, but it is Notts County Orient.
Yeah,
so
that's
so
right.
so there's going to be a team drops points there.
Yeah.
Is it therefore more important, especially with Orient next week, to go on into that with a bit of a cushion if you can build it up?
Again, like you're stating the obvious that of course we've looked at that, and you're right, that is the 6-pointer. We've got to make sure we win our games that are not 6-pointers necessarily with that particular team. Well, that would be nice to try and get enough points to overtake Yeovil by the end of the season, because even though I love the club, I still like to end up above them, and the management team, I like them, but still like to get more points than them. So we've got to get as many points as we can, as early as we can, so that it's not left to the last sort of 2 or 3 games with the last 2 or 3 teams. We've got to make sure that we've got a few teams below us.
Put you in a situation with you're a goal up with a minute to go. The last 2 games you conceded at home late goals. What will the message be? What will the instruction from the touchline be? Or can you try and sort of stop something like that from happening?
Well, listen, if there was a surefire way, then nobody would ever score in the last minutes. You just have to defend well, and you have to concentrate for 96 minutes now. The game's never 90 minutes. It's always 96. And if you look through the leagues at how many goals are scored in a 90-odd minute, and it's when you're only a goal up, which is why I always say you've got to try and be 2 up, because 95th minute and you're 2-0 up, the opposition are demoralised. They're not going to get 2 goals. 1 up, and they throw everything at you, like we did at Stevenage. And we should have got something back. We had an opportunity at Notts County right at the last minute when we headed over the bar, when we should have done better. This week we had Dan Ullman when Brownie came up, because it was the 96th minute, 95th minute. Unbelievably, their goalie punched it to him. He headed it to Dan Ullman, and normally Dan Ullman would have chested it and volleyed it in. He had plenty of time, plenty of room. That's the person I would want there for my life in that position, but unfortunately on this occasion he decided to head it and it petered out. So that's what happens. And if when a team's only 1 goal down, then they throw everything late on, and sometimes it comes off. A lot of times it comes off.
Cheers.
No problem.
Thank you.